Okay, let's be real. Writing a project proposal can feel like, well, like a huge chore. But what if I told you it's actually the single most important step in taking a brilliant idea and making it happen? So, how do you write a killer one? That's what we're going to do today. Together, we're going to build a blueprint for a proposal that doesn't just get a yes, it gets people pumped to be a part of what you're building.
We've all been there, right? You're just staring at that blinking cursor on a blank page, and you can almost feel the weight of your big idea. It's intimidating. But you know, that blank page, it's also pure potential. And today, we're going to fill it with a structure and a story that's designed to make your project absolutely impossible to ignore. I want you to think about your proposal this way. It's the advocate that works for you when you're not even in the room. It's your big chance to formally justify why a problem is so important, to prove you've got the chops to handle it, and to show that your solution isn't just some cool idea, it's a sound one. It's your project's origin story and its first big pitch, all rolled into one.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what a proposal actually is. Then, we get to the fun part, telling your project's story. After that, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of your plan, add that all-important professional polish, and finally, make sure your sources are totally rock solid. Sound good? Let's dive in.
First up, what even is a project proposal? It sounds basic, but before we can write a great one, we have to get back to its real purpose. And honestly, it all boils down to answering one huge question. Why? Why this project? Why should anyone care right now? And why are you the person to do it? I think this is the perfect way to look at it, kind of like a three-legged stool. Each leg is a core justification you absolutely have to prove. Leg 1, the problem itself matters. Leg 2, you are the right person or team to solve it. And leg 3, your solution is the right way to do it. If any one of those legs is wobbly, the whole thing can just fall apart.
All right, so with that definition locked in, let's move on to my favorite part, turning your proposal into a story. Because look, the best proposals, they don't just list a bunch of facts. They build a narrative. They build a story that grabs the reader and actually makes them care.
This quote right here really nails it. It perfectly captures why the background and motivation section is so critical. This isn't just some filler content you rush through. No way. This is the solid, concrete foundation for your entire project. Because without a strong why, the what and the how just don't matter. So your story really unfolds in 3 acts. First up, the introduction. That's your hook. A quick, punchy summary of the problem and your brilliant solution. Then you've got the background, where you build the world, you use data, you use references to show why this problem needs solving right now. And finally, the problem statement. This part is so important because it's where you take all that big picture context and you narrow it down to the one specific solvable issue you are going to tackle. Okay, we've built the foundation with our story. Now it's time to build the actual structure on top of it. This section is all about translating that really compelling why into a super clear what and how. Now, this is something that trips up a lot of people, the difference between an aim and an objective. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Your aim is the final destination on a map. It's that big, broad thing you want to achieve. Your objectives, those are the specific, measurable, turn-by-turn directions you're going to follow to get there. And here's what that looks like in a real example. The aim is that grand vision, a smart car park. Simple enough, but the objectives are those concrete, actionable steps to make it real. First, review what's out there. Second, design and build the app. Third, test it out. See? Just like that, anyone reading this knows exactly what you plan to do.
This brings us to the proposed solution section. And let me tell you, this part needs to be beefy. This is not the place to be vague. You got to get into the details. What tech are you going to use? What does the process actually look like step by step? What are the inputs? And what outputs do you expect? This is where you really prove your plan is solid.
You know, you can have the absolute best idea in the world, but if the proposal itself looks sloppy, it just torpedoes your credibility. So let's talk about that professional polish. And honestly, these are the easy wins that make a massive difference. First up, length. Don't worry, you're not writing a novel here. The guideline is a minimum of just 4 pages for the main content. And that's a good thing. It forces you to be concise, to be powerful. Remember, your reader is a busy person. You respect their time by getting straight to the point. Next up, formatting. It's so simple, but so important. The standard is Times New Roman, size 12. Just set it and forget it. Following a small rule like this sends a huge signal to your reader that you pay attention to the details. And here it is, the official assembly guide for your document. There's a professional expectation for this order, so it's always best to follow it.
You start with the cover page, then all the front matter like your table of contents. After that, you hit them with the intro, the main body of the proposal, and you finish strong with your references and any appendices.
All right, we are at our last section, and this one is absolutely massive for building your credibility. Let's talk about how to correctly handle your sources. All that data, all those figures, all the research that your own amazing work is built on top of.
So, whether you're using a table of data or a cool visual chart, the rule is always the same. Every single one needs a clear caption. And this is the part people forget. You have to refer to it by number in your text. A chart that just kind of floats on the page with no explanation, it's useless. You have to actively pull it into your story to make your point.
Here is a quick little checklist to get your references right every single time. First, alphabetize your list. Easy. Then, number each source in square brackets, and you use those numbers for your citations in the text. And here's the golden rule. If it's on your reference list, it absolutely must be cited somewhere in your proposal. No exceptions.
Ever wonder what the heck actually goes in an appendix? Well, a project timeline is a perfect example. Using a Gantt chart, like this one here, is a fantastic way to visually break down your whole plan over the project's 8 to 10 month schedule. It's a powerful way to show you thought through the practical side of things, and it adds a serious layer of professionalism. So let's bring it all home. When you pull all these pieces together, the sections, the formatting, the citations, what do you really have? A great proposal is so much more than a document. It is a clear, professional, and compelling story about an important problem, a problem that you are uniquely ready to solve.
And that's it. That's the blueprint for a killer proposal. You've got the structure, you've got the strategy. Now you just need to apply it to your great idea. So the only question left is, what problem will you solve?